السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. مرحبا بكم في برنامجكم تعلم التجويد على قناتكم وعلم ينتفع به. In another meeting we take the letters with short a vowel. We now say رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما. In the last meeting we take the letters with short a vowel, like letter غين with short a vowel, say غ غ. Letter ميم with short a vowel, say ما ما. Letter طاء with short a vowel, say طا طا. Letter حاء with short a vowel, say ح ح. Okay. Letter خاء with short a vowel, say خا خا, not خ, no خا. It's heavy letter, letter خاء طاء غين, all of these letters it's heavy letters. Now we take the letters when it's come in beginning of the word or end of the word or in the middle of the word. مواضع الحروف في أول الكلمة، في وسط الكلمة، وفي آخر الكلمة. The letter ألف in the beginning of the word, it's come like normal ألف without hand after or before, okay, and sometimes come with letter همزة, okay, like this. In the middle of the word it's come with one hand before the letter ألف, okay, like this. And in the end of the word it's come like normal ألف or normal همزة without any hand, like this. So we say that letter ألف, it's naughty letter. Naughty letter. Why? Because it's come in the beginning of the word and in the end of the word without hand, and in the middle of the word and sometimes in the end of the word it's come with one hand only before the letter. And letter دال and letter ذال, okay, راء زاي واو. All of these letters we say it's naughty letters because it's come in the beginning of the word without hand, okay, letter دال in the beginning of the word without hand, letter ذال راء زاي واو, okay, it's come in the beginning of the word without any hand before the letter. In the middle of the word it's come with one hand only before the letter. In the middle of the word like this, letter دال in the middle of the word with one hand, ذال in the middle of the word with one hand, and ra, zay, wow in the middle of the word. It's come with one hand only before the letter. Okay, and in the end of the word, these letters sometimes come with one hand in the end of the word and sometimes come without any hand, like in the beginning of the word or in the middle of the word, like normal letter alif. Okay, end of the word without hand, and sometimes come with one hand like in the middle of the word. And letter del in the end of the word sometimes come with one hand or without hand before the letter. Letter del in the end of the word become with one hand or without hand before the letter. Letter ra in the end of the word sometimes come with one hand before the letter or without any hand. Letter zay in the end of the word sometimes come with one hand or without hand in the end of the word. And also letter wow in the end of the word it's come with one hand or without any hand. Okay, these letters it's say naughty letters. Okay, naughty letters because it's come with one hand only in the middle of the word and in the beginning of the word without any hand. And another letters, letter ba, ta, fa, jim, ha, kha, sin, shin, صاد, ضاد, طاء, ظاء, عين, غين, فاء, قاف, كاف, لام, ميم, نون, هاء, همزة, ياء. It's come in the beginning of the word with one hand, okay, after the letter. Okay, we take now the another letters. It's when we come in the beginning of the word with one hand, like letter ba, ta, fa, jim, ha, kha, sin, shin, okay, صاد, ضاد, طاء, ظاء, عين, غين, فاء, قاف, كاف, لام, ميم, نون, هاء, ياء. All of this, okay, it's come with one hand only after the letter. Okay, and all of these letters when come in the middle of the word with two hand. It's come with two hand. Okay, letter ba, ta, fa, jim. with color red. Okay, it's come with two hand. حاء with two hand in the middle of the word. Letter خاء with two hand. Okay, سين شين صاد ضاد طاء ظاء عين غين فاء قاف كاف لام ميم نون هاء واو. No, wow, no. Letter wow, it's not a letter. Yeah, all of this in the middle of the word, it's with two hand after and before the letter. Okay, and end of the word, all of these letters. Okay, باء تاء ثاء جيم حاء خاء سين شين صاد ضاد طاء ظاء عين غين فاء قاف كاف لام ميم نون هاء ياء. It's like normal letter, okay, but with one hand before the letter, like this, with one hand. Okay, letter تاء. This تاء, it's تاء مربوطة. We say تاء مربوطة. Okay, letter ثاء جيم. Okay, in the end of the word. حاء خاء سين, like normal سين, but with one hand before the letter. شين صاد ضاد طاء ظاء عين. All of this in the end of the word, it's like normal letter but with one hand only before the letter. Okay, letter لام, letter ميم نون. Okay, letter هاء, sometimes in the end of the word with one hand and sometimes without any hand, like letter تاء, sometimes it's come with one hand before the letter and sometimes come without any hand, and sometimes like normal letter تاء with 2 points. Okay, and one hand only before the letter. Okay, and letter ya in the end of the word, sometimes with one hand and sometimes without any hand, like this, and sometimes draw in the mushaf with like this in the end of the word. Okay, we say the naughty letters. Revision now. Letter ألف دال ذال راء زاي واو. It's naughty letters because in the beginning of the word it's come without any hand. In the middle of the word it's come with only one hand before the letter. In the end of the word it's come sometimes with one hand and sometimes without any hand. Okay, another letters in the beginning of the word with one hand before the letter and in the middle of the word it's with two hand. Okay, after and before the letters, and in the end of the word it's right like the normal letter with one hand before the letter. We say now سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.